Transformers Rise of the Beast is right around the corner, just 4 days away. The buzz is building and early reviews are showering it with positivity. However, there are 4 crucial elements that the movie absolutely needs to tackle and finally nail, to not only be successful, to improve, and to finally deliver on things that I and other TF fans have been wanting for years, and hopefully we'll get to see. For starters, at number 4, letting characters get enough screen time and not go to waste. We're going to be seeing a lot of new and different characters in Rise of the Beast, from Unicron and his Terracons, Optimus Primal and his Beast Mode Maximals, to Optimus Prime and his revamped Autobot crew. It's quite a lot to cram into a 2-hour movie. The last time a Transformer movie tried to add in so many cool concepts, some of which were even getting their own film, we got Transformers The Last Knight, which, although looked cool and were great ideas, it wasn't able to really execute them to their full potential. The designs we've already seen for the Maximals and Terracons are amazing, from all the trailers and posters we've gotten, with Battletrap and Primal by far being my favourites. But both the Terracons and Maximals especially have so much to give in terms of their story potential and character arcs. If you've ever watched Beast Wars, you know what I'm talking about, as each Transformer in that show had their own unique flair and impact on how the show played out. Take Optimus Primal and Cheetor, who we know are going to be in Rise of the Beast. When we were first introduced to Primal, while still a leader, he doesn't command the same amount of authority and respect from his crew, like his namesake once did. However, as the show continued, he began to garner more and more respect, becoming this uncle role model-like figure. Cheetor, on the other hand, was pretty much the energetic Bumblebee of the Maximals, who'd irrationally charge into fights or get captured. Yet, like Primal, he also matured throughout the show. I've not even mentioned Dinobot, who sadly doesn't seem like he's going to be in the film. My point is that these characters have a lot to offer and to be explored in the movie, which brings me to my next part, that Transformers Rise of the Beast needs to make the villains menacing and in-depth. The Terracons are taken over as the main antagonists in Rise of the Beast, meaning the movie has a chance to introduce us to a new, non-Decepticon threat, taking Scourge and his underlings' brutality and ruthlessness anywhere they want. However, I would love to see the film take its time fully fleshing out the Terracons' backstory and motives, and make them into memorable villains. But most importantly, make them into a real challenging threat for the Autobots, and no movie did this better than the very first. One thing that I absolutely loved from the 2007 movie was how good it was at portraying the Decepticons as these unstoppable killing machines, from Blackout's attack and massacre of the military base to even Starscream alone proving to be more than a handful for Ironhide and Ratchet. Every time a Decepticon was on screen, you knew things were going to go badly, not even just for the Autobots, but the human cast as well, when Scorponok was stalking and tracking the base fires down, alongside the scene where Frenzy infiltrates Sector 7. And it's this imposing, threatening kind of atmosphere that we never really got to fully see again, and would like to see return in Rise of the Beasts. Although, I'll admit, Lockdown in Age of Extinction was pretty damn intimidating, especially in that opening hunt for Ratchet. The Terracons are the perfect opportunity to bring that vibe back. We already know their master is the Chaos Bringer Unicron, who not only has a deep hatred for the Transformers, but has a reputation of bestowing his minions with devastating powers and forms, and it's very clear that Scourge follows this trend as a deadly warrior. I've said this before, if you look at the hood of his truck, he has trophy insignias from 25 Transformers he's slaughtered in battle, some from the most skilled Autobot combatants, the Wreckers, the unnamed fallen comrades of Optimus Primal, and others from the ranks of the Mercenary and Decepticon factions. Most of these look really old as well, so he got these way before Rise of the Beast takes place. So perhaps whenever the Autobots confront the Terracons, we'll get to see how powerful and the reason why Scourge was able to defeat so many strong foes. On the flip side of the coin, the same amount of time and treatment should be given to the Autobots and humans. Bumblebee was a big step in the right direction with how well they handled the Transformer-human dynamic, with Bee and Charlie's friendship growing throughout the movie. Yet, haven't you ever wanted these films to delve more into how the Transformers see and interact with each other, humanizing and making them more into characters, like we've seen in the shows and games? We kind of got a bit of this in Age of Extinction and The Last Knight, with a sprinkling of trivia throughout the movies, like how Optimus and Megatron saw themselves as brothers in the past. Rise of the Beast should try to focus more on the Transformers themselves, and since most of the Autobot cast is new to the spotlight, depending on your point of view, it's a good chance to create some spirited moments and synergy. But everything I've just said can easily go to waste if it doesn't have or focus on setting up one thing: continuity. The continuity of the trilogy going forward. And yes, if you didn't know, they confirmed Rise of the Beast is the first of 3 movies a while back. They can easily do this by dropping a tease at what's to come, like Megatron and the Decepticons appearing at the end or in a post-credit scene. There's even a Rise of the Beast Megatron toy out, with the box sporting a revamped Bumblebee-esque design, like I discussed in my last video. Or perhaps Scourge and Unicron aren't fully defeated in Rise of the Beasts. One of my pet peeves about the later half of the Michael Bay movies was how each movie didn't really follow on from the last. Just look at the origins of the Transformers. It went from the Allspark to Alien Creators to Quintessa. Remember when the head of KSI said he'd get Cade's home and farm back? Well, guess he didn't, and decided to leave big tech for magic. Either way, I really hope this isn't a thing in Rise of the Beast, because if you look at how other movie franchises handled story build-up like the MCU and Infinity War, it really did create a lot of hype and excitement, with a big payoff. I've been trying to keep away from too many spoilers, but luckily a few of you let me know in my last video that the director from Rise of the Beast, Stephen Caple Jr., has come out and confirmed the movie is a reboot of the franchise. Whether Paramount makes good use of this reboot remains to be seen, but you can find out by subscribing to catch my review when Transformers Rise of the Beast releases.